to another Toffee Blues pre-match live stream. We've got James from the Babbling Blues on, joining me again. James, how are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. You?
Yeah, how are you feeling about tonight? Because there's been a couple of weird, there was the Decore thing as well, so that's knocked a bit of confidence out of me. But I want to see. I'm just can't wait for the team news now. See who's playing.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about Decoy when I seen him go off actually on Thursday, because he sort of hobbled off a little bit, so I was a little bit worried then. But yeah, I don't know. I was just sort of thinking it's not as bad as the Leicester game when we didn't have Decore or Alan. So I hope if Decore's not playing, at least Alan could be, and then if Davis is back, I think that's we're capable of sort of filling the void of no Decore if that's the case. But yeah, obviously I hope he is playing. But as you say, it does look pretty ominous, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's been in case you didn't know, guys, there's been the rumours flying around that Abdoulaye Decore's broken his foot. And it's been, I mean, the club haven't said anything. There was the team news yesterday. There was no official word that he's injured. There was no official word that he was in the team either. But then why would there be? Because he's played every game, hasn't he? So, but yeah, there's a couple of comments out. Hello to Erwin Koeman, who's already got his kit. Come on, you Blues. Let's hope we get the win. Yeah, that was obviously he was addressing that you can get 50% off on Everton Direct at the moment on your home, away, and third kits, and you can help support the channel. So why not? If you have to one, go ahead and do it now. Probably the best time. Julian Bakera says, "Is James starting?" Once the team news is out, we'll be reacting to it, and I'll put it along the bottom. But I hope so. But Ancelotti said that he could be missing out tonight. Carl Molyneux really fancies us to win, going for the 2-0 win. I'm a bit more confident than I have been in this year's. James, what about you?
I'm more confident, definitely, but it's so hard to be confident going there, isn't it? Because I think in terms of winning, only the cup game springs to mind. I don't think we've actually won there other than that. I'm trying to think of other cup competitions, but I don't think we have. And I was going to do a post actually on Twitter of some good games about. I was going to put a picture up of the 3-3 when Zaha scored, and then obviously the Baines free kick game. And then I was fresh out after those, so I couldn't think of any other good results or performances.
There's a KL overhead kick, isn't there?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's one. And then obviously there was a free from the Marnes, but we were winning that game 2-0, and then we scored again in the last minute. We still didn't win, so. Yeah, then we got swatted aside by Mourinho countless times there, 3 or 4-0. Yeah, it hasn't been a great ground. So
last season was an absolute. Oh, it was awful. One of the worst games I've seen Everton play that last season. This game.
Yeah, it's funny, but that as well. I've seen there was Sky Sports did a video which was a compilation of great last ditch tackles, and there was one Sidibe made in the game last year. I didn't even see that because I turned off by then. And he made this I don't know if you saw. He made this great last ditch tackle on some Chelsea fella I'd never heard of, some young player Lampard put in when it was 4-0, and he made a great tackle by him. Sidibe, the first half of that game was criminally bad. I think that was a game they decided they weren't gonna sign him permanently. But yeah, last season was a joke there.
I think I was in work on that game, and I think I went. I remember sitting in a bar after work watching it on my own, and it was so lonely. And I can't believe it. I think that was the last game that we had an away support now, which is weird because it's a year to the day. I think so. It's mad. Erwin Koeman says James is injured, so Everton said last night. He said that he may be missing, but I don't think he said that he's a couple of people saying that I'm breaking up. It should even itself out in a minute. It usually does at the start of the stream. It's really, really annoying. Stephen Thomas says, "Lovely shave, lad. Thanks, Steve." Yeah, as you can see, I have shaved my beard off. So, yeah, I don't know. I've been undecided on it yet. But Erwin Koeman says he hopes Decore is fit. I do as well. I think we can get run through in midfield if he's not playing. I'll wait to see.
Yeah, he's not playing, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's not. It's just just read the team out for us if you don't mind, James, and I'll put it out on the screen.
It's Pickford, Holgate, Godfrey, Dean, Keane, Alan, Gomez, Sigurdsson, captain, obviously, Iwobi, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin. And then the bench, I think, is probably the worst we've had so far. Virginia, Tyra, Nkunku, John, Davis, Onyango, Bernard, Broadhead, and King.
Yeah, it's not the most. I will be playing. No, I don't know. There's not really anyone to bring on apart from Josh King. I would have liked to see Davis in for Gomez as well.
Yeah, I would have done as well, absolutely. He must just not be fully fit then, because I think Gomez was really poor on Thursday myself.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty poor, wasn't he? And he hasn't looked himself for ages now. And I think we need to be looking at other options because he's just not good enough, really, is he? In my opinion,
I've been saying that for a while now. Yeah, I just don't think he offers us enough. So, yeah, that's a bit of a worry.
Sigurdsson's obviously in there as captain. There's been a bit of rumour coming about that they're listening to offers for him, which is unexpected.
Yeah, strange timing because, he's been really poor for so long and we didn't hear anything. And then as soon as he starts chalking in with a few goals and assists and a couple of performances, then they're going to say they'll happily listen to offers for him. But I'm just looking at their team now. And as what you said earlier, Mount's not playing, he's on the bench. But otherwise, it looks pretty strong. Zuma's playing, obviously, former club. They've got quite a strong team out, I think.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm confident or not. After looking at that, I'll look myself at the. I'll take a look at. But Carmel says if Decore is out, my 2-0 prediction goes out the window. What's your prediction now then? I'm interested to hear, Carl. When Koeman says no Decore. Sorry, Jude. I accidentally pronounced your name wrong. It's Hoon. Sorry, mate. I'll make sure to remember in the future. Jamie says, give these a good go tonight, Blues. I hope so. To be honest, maybe I just want us to go and dig in a bit and hopefully get a result because for too long now, it's even worse than Anfield, isn't it? Statistically, for going away and getting a win there. We really need to get a win here. It's just not good enough, is it? Going away to Stamford Bridge. It's never happy games.
Yeah, as I said, there's been some awful games there. I mean, the Koeman one as well, the 5-0, that was awful. And then the early days when I started really getting into Everton, just watching us go there and get battered by Mourinho every time we went there, it felt like we've been beaten by some pretty poor Chelsea teams as well. Like, they haven't always been unbelievable. They've had a few off seasons and we just still haven't been able to capitalise, like the 15-16 season, as I mentioned earlier, when Leicester won the league and they were really poor. I think they came like 10th or something, and we drew 3-3 with them in that Funes Mori game. So not a happy hunting ground by any means, but we've sort of laid to rest, like, the ghost of White Hart Lane and Anfield this season, and obviously won at Leicester, got a point at United. So we've been very good against some of the big teams on the road. So just hope tonight's another one.
It's massive miss. Abdoulaye Decore. Really, really disappointed in that because Toffee Blues John there in the chat says Decore could be out for the season. If he is, that's put a massive dampener on our hopes of getting into Europe because he's been really, really good for us this year. John also says, let's go the Terry route when it comes to Carlo's lineup. Question it and have faith in the team. Carl. Yeah, he never seems. Has he ever named an unchanged team for him? Because he always changes his team and it seems to work quite a lot of the time. I mean, obviously, there's times when it doesn't quite work, but I was questioning. I remember we were on for the Anfield game, weren't we? And we were like, we thought the game was over as soon as we saw the team news.
I don't think it would have mattered what team we put out that day, though, to be fair. I think we would have always thought we were going to get beat. But the side we put out that day was quite a strange one. It worked. So, but I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen much fume around this team tonight because I think people just kind of know needs must now. Know Decore and know James. So they're obviously going to be difficult players to sort of fill the void of. But otherwise, I think that's a pretty sensible looking team to me.
Yeah, this was like see Davis tonight. So would I, because I don't think he's injured. And he's obviously Gomez is in for him, but I I don't want to question it too much, but would I like to see Tom Davies in there because he was brilliant before he's had this little spell out of the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been the best run since he first started coming into the team under Ronald Koeman when he looked really promising. I think this has definitely been his best sort of period as an Everton player. But, you know, as it classically seems to be this season, just sort of losing really important players at important times and no one seems to be talking about it. But we just keep on getting results, even when, you know, sort of backs against the wall. It doesn't look like we're going to get one. So hopefully tonight's another one. Because I remember going into those games around Christmas, like the Chelsea and the Leicester and the Arsenal games, and we got obviously 9 points from 3 games there. So just hope it's another one tonight.
Yeah, Ace Allen says Tom's still drunk from celebrating the derby. It's a good... Yeah, I think...
I am, to be fair.
I think he was just as bad as all of us, mate. So... yeah, that's a pretty good excuse. James Brinkley says, fingers crossed for tonight. Can't see us getting too many chances, but the lads are going to need to be effective. Hopefully, Gylfi will step up with another important assist. I'm hoping so. His recent form says that he can be a threat. Sigurdsson and, of course, Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin up front. Them two are always dangerous, James. Iwobi, though, I think Iwobi really needs to improve from his game at West Brom because I was singing his praises for him to be in the team against West Brom and he just didn't really offer anything, I thought.
Yeah, I think we said the same thing, didn't we? We were quite happy to see him on Thursday because we needed a player who could unpick a lock and get a ball through a defence, but he was garbage on Thursday, I thought. He wasn't taking on his fullback and he was playing against that Connor Townsend fella who I thought was a teenager, and then the commentator said after about 15 minutes it was his 28th birthday. I couldn't believe it. Like, I think he was playing in League One a couple of seasons ago, so he definitely should have put in a better performance up against him. It's going to be tough tonight, but yeah, we need him to step up. We need Gylfi to have another decent performance because he's been racking them up the last few weeks. We need Calvert-Lewin to be as much of a nuisance as he has been the last few weeks. And Richarlison to be on form again. But yeah, I think in terms of players who are on form, other than probably Gomez and Iwobi, I think everyone else have been in pretty decent form the last few weeks. I think that bodes well.
Allen's in as well. His first start in a while, I think. Did he start again? He didn't start against West Brom, did he? Got brought on.
He started against Southampton, didn't he?
Yeah, that was it. But I'm made up he's starting because he was brilliant against West Brom. I thought that was one of his better performances for us. So I'm glad he's in the team again tonight.
Yeah, when he came on, I think he really settled the midfield down. I think he brought Gomez's game up a little bit. I think he made him have a decent last 20 minutes after a really poor sort of first hour or so. And he just gave us someone else a little bit extra in that midfield. So I think he'll be really good. But we were saying last week, weren't we, how desperate we are to see Decore, Davis and Allan in a midfield three. And now it just looks like that's not even gonna happen now because Decore is going to be out for the rest of the season, it looks like. So if that's the case, then yeah, we're going to go for another, 4 or 5 months till we get to potentially see that when the next season starts. So, but I think what could be interesting is maybe the re-emergence of Jean-Philippe Gbamin. This could be potentially his way into the side if he finds a set of working knees. That'd be delightful.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? If Decore, who's been brilliant, gets an injury, and then Gbamin ends up in his place, and yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. Football's really unpredictable, isn't it? But if Gbamin, as you said, that's a big if. If Gbamin finds a set of working knees, because the man is the definition of injury prone, isn't he? Really. So I don't know. I'm happy with some of the players in that team, though. A couple of people will call him for Coleman in the team, but I don't think he works in a 4. So I'm glad Coleman's not playing. I'm happy to sell him back in there, and obviously Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. I think he might get a bit of space out those two if he played them in behind. But you can't question Carlo's tactics. There's always something that he's got up his sleeve.
Yeah, I think he seems to have like a little bit of a plan for most teams he plays against, and we talk about him not having the same team week to week. Definitely that's been enforced most of the time, but I also think that he's more than happy to bring a player out, put another one in, change shape if it's going to lend us to get a better result against a different side. I think the days of saying, "Oh, you don't change a winning team," that's done for now in football, because everyone wants to change the team. Everyone wants to bring players in who are going to play better against a certain system, who are going to work better in a certain formation, that sort of thing. So, I think that's sort of where Ancelotti is now, but he's more than happy to change the team. And I think probably since maybe the second game of the season, I think we probably played the same team against Spurs and then against West Brom as well. I think after that, I'd be shocked if we played the same team 2 weeks or 2 games in a row. I just don't think it's happened. So, but that doesn't bother me too much if he's tinkering with the formation and giving us a better chance of winning.
Yeah, I mean, he does seem to have something. He's obviously Carlo's going back to his former club as well. It's important to remember. But anyway, we'll see how it works. Hopefully it works. James Sipovic, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, mate. He says, rumours Carlo will listen to offers for Sigurdsson. What are your opinions? We spoke about him a little bit earlier, but let's talk about him a bit more in depth, because we were talking, I think, a few weeks ago, James, about how we're a bit disappointed with him, and now he came in and he still hasn't scored a free kick for us, and there's all the usual stuff in that he's a great at pointing and all that. But personally, now I wouldn't let him go, if I'm being honest. I think if there's a decent offer for him, then I think we can go and reinvest it somewhere else. But what's your opinion on him? Because I was surprised to see it. I know you were, but what's your opinion? How much would it have to be for us to let him go?
I think if it's a reasonable offer, I'd happily take that. I think I feel like we're in a point now at the club where we need to get any money we can for players. If you look at the other lot, they get money for absolute garbage. The money they've got for some of their players is ridiculous, and we need to start doing that, I think. So, it's a completely nominal fee of, a couple of million, it probably isn't worth it. But I think if someone is desperate to get a hold of him and they want 8 to 10 million, something like that, I'd be absolutely more than happy to just cut our losses on him and just say, yeah, he's not been the worst player to ever play for Everton, but I think he was just a bit of a victim of circumstance, and the fact that we signed him alongside Rooney, alongside Klaassen. We signed him for way more money than we ever should have done in a million years. And he's just not lived up to that, really. But at the end of the day, how could he possibly have ever lived up to that? Like, I don't think there's any way Gylfi Sigurdsson could have played to be a £45 million footballer. I just don't see it. I think someone like James could be a £45 million footballer for Everton. I think he's got that sort of talent. I don't think Sigurdsson ever did. So, if it's a reasonable fee, then I'd say, yeah, move him on. But if it's not, then he's proved the last few weeks he's entirely useful to this team, and he's obviously got another year left on his deal. So I think if it's a decent fee, then yeah, move him on. Say, nice one for everything. But then if not, I'm probably in the same boat as you and saying keep him around. Yeah,
and I mean, there's no there's no real weight to any of those rumours. It's just a few rumours that are floating about on Twitter today. And I mean, I'm sort of, I hate to say it, but I am sort of warming to him. He was really good at West Brom the other night when he came on. Personally, he was my man of the match at West Brom. I might get shot down for that one. But, obviously scored the penalty at Anfield. So the thing is he going to stick to that? Like, is it going to be, by the time like April comes around, he's just going to put them awful performances again? So if someone gives us 8 to 10 million and we can go and get a consistent player that's not as, he might not do all the, he might not have that a lot of quality, but somebody who's a bit more consistent and another type of squad player, then yeah, probably will be a good deal. Bobby the Ross wants to talk about Gabaman. To be honest, I don't know. I don't have a clue what type of player he is at all. I really don't. So I don't know. We've spoke about him loads and loads of times on the channel, and I really don't have a clue what he offers to the team when he comes in. So I don't understand how we can sort of make like an appraisal of him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's so mad, isn't it? Like, how often does it happen where someone signs a player for loads of money? Because at the end of the day, £25 million a lot of money for spend on a defensive midfielder like that, and he just doesn't kick a ball for, it'll be nearly 2 years by the time he eventually does, which obviously you hope is this season. But Yeah, I'm exactly the same as you. I don't really know what I can say about him. I know he's definitely got some energy. I know he's a good tackler with the ball. That's what he sort of showed at Mainz in the stuff I watched of him and in the stats and what have you. But it's so hard because you don't know if he's going to translate to Premier League football. You've got no idea what kind of player he's going to come back as. If I was him, I'd be really scared going into tackles, going into challenges, and that's kind of going to be his game. So just depends on how mentally sort of ready he is to come back, and maybe that's why Carlo hasn't thrown him in yet. He could well be match fit now, but he just isn't mentally ready for it. I don't know. So yeah, it's been a bit of a disaster, but I think we all just hope he can come back and stay injury free and show what he can do. Hopefully this season, because if he doesn't play this year, then we might have to start thinking.
No, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, if we do end up selling him without him playing the game, it'd be so weird. It'd be one of those weird like Shani Tarashai, Henry Onyekuru signings, wouldn't it? But to be honest, we can't really say too much about him because I don't know if he's going to be as good as a tackler as Alan or whatever or whatever. I think James left a comment he wants to answer. Much agreed. Victim of service, a great way to put it. He's proved extremely useful as of recently. We'll see who else we get to replace him. I mean, I don't know really who we could get to replace him. Someone in the chat mentioned Rabiot there, Mitchell Smith. Is he still? I don't know if he's still at Juventus because I remember he was PSG. He's been thrown about a lot, and I don't know if he falls in the same league as Wilfred Zaha, where we've been linked with them that many times. Let's go look for new options because we've been linked with a player for like 3 summers on the run, and you haven't signed him still. It's usually there's something wrong with him, isn't there?
Yeah, we've had a few of them, haven't we? Like down the years and the Koeman and the Silva years. Someone like Kevin Strootman comes to mind, linked with him every single window. And it's like, it just gets so boring. And it's the same old story of Rabiot with Mars, an absolute nightmare. I don't know if she's still talking to the press, but yeah, I think the problem with him is just his attitude seems to stink a little bit. And obviously forced his way out of PSG. He's not really littered up in Serie A, but someone I do like the look of is the fella at Reading, Michael Elise. I think I was watching some videos of him the other day, and we had been linked to him, been linked to a few Premier League clubs. Tottenham's another one, I think, can sort of play in that attacking midfield role. I'd like to see us look at someone like him, just someone a bit younger, and someone who can is ready to step up when maybe James isn't playing, or again when we change formation, change shape. That's the sort of player I think we should be looking at. Someone who's young, benefits the fact that he's probably English as well. Someone who's not going to cost a load of money, won't be loads on in terms of wages as well. So I think someone like him is what I'd like to see us go for. Someone who's someone who doesn't need to be in the first team every game because we have got James there, obviously, but someone who can step up and play sort of 20, 30 games a season. I think that's a much better commodity to have than someone like Sigurdsson, who's always going to have the price tag and the wages and everything sort of hanging over him whenever he plays type thing.
Yeah, probably a good idea that, James, going and signing someone else like that. I'll read out a couple of names. Obviously, guys, if you leave your comments in the chat, I'll go through, read all your names out, and you'll get a shout out on the stream. So we've got Mitchell Smith, Joe Philly Bo says Gomez needs to do better, definitely. Ace Aaron says, when do you think King will get a chance to start? Well, it's a strange one because I'd say when one of the two are injured, because if Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin are fit, I wouldn't expect King to start. But there's been times already since he has come in when neither of them have been ready and he hasn't played them. So I don't know. It's up to the manager. I really don't have a clue. But I hope it's soon. I'd like to see him get more time in the Everton shirt before the end of the season. Neil Leatherbarrow says Gutted Decore hasn't fit, a huge miss in this game, as is Rodriguez. Carl Molyneux says, who is going to make those latch-ditch tackles in midfield? Decore is out. Hopefully Alan fills up that role. He is a good tackler and he is good at carrying the ball. So hopefully he should do the same job. It's just nicer to have two of them in the team, isn't it? Let's see if we've got any more that I haven't already read out. Erwin Koeman says, all these injuries and Carlo hasn't moaned once. Maybe someone across the should try it. Definitely. I'm very old now listening to them. James Brinkley, Big Sport of the Stream, thank you for joining again, says, personally, I've never rated Sigurdsson, but don't think we're in a position to let him go, bizarrely enough. We seem to have heavy injuries in the middle, so could prove useful in midweek next season. He probably could, yeah, and I think that's why maybe Carlo's keen to give him a new contract, but now they're saying if they'll listen to opt for him, so I don't know. I think it's watch this space and see what happens come the summer. Semi-Charm Life is back in the stream. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining in, mate. Thanks for your comments as well and all your support on the resos. James says I would let him go if we could replace him. Like, so would I if there's a better, younger option. Then yeah. Sean O'Farrell says, all right, lads, do you think Iwobi has improved this season? I do think he has slightly improved. James, what do you think? Because I know, like you said, he was pony at West Brom the other night, but I would say he has improved, definitely.
Yeah, I think he certainly has improved. I think I was quite happy with the signings. I think the metrics and the sort of underlying data looked really strong, and I felt if he could play him in the correct position, which for me has always been behind the striker, number 10, sort of picking the ball up in pockets and playing it through quickly sort of role. But he hasn't really done that under Ancelotti, but I think he still has looked a very useful player. I think his performance has been a little bit overrated at times. I feel like there've been games we've won, and just because he's played, he's gotten sort of praise, whereas I don't think he's put in particularly great performance in some of those games. But in other games, I think he certainly has been very good and one of our better players. He's just got a couple of goals this season, a couple of assists as well. So I do think he has improved, but I still do want to see more from him because, you know, we talk about Sigurdsson not doing enough in terms of maybe his all-round game, but his numbers in terms of goals and assists is really strong. I wouldn't say Iwobi, does particularly loads more off the ball, and then obviously his numbers are sort of very inferior to Sigurdsson in terms of obviously the goal involvement. So that's something I want to see an improvement on. He needs to score more goals, needs to be in the box more. But I think from last season, definitely has improved.
In my opinion, his final delivery for a winger into the box is awful.
Yeah, his crossing is. I mean, I said this last week, but when we got him and Holgate on the same side, there's not the crossing's just abysmal from the right hand side, and we're just entirely overloading the left to get the ball out to Luca Dean or even Andre Gomez, who can definitely swing a ball in when he's out there. We saw that at Wolves, for example. But yeah, I think he needs to improve aspects of his game. Absolutely, it's gonna be interesting to see where he plays tonight as well, because I don't want to see Sigurdsson playing in that sort of Roman 8 role, because I think he's absolutely garbage there, to be honest. It's gonna be interesting to see whether that maybe is. Yeah, that's where he's got to play behind the striker, Sigurdsson, and then he did play there against Southampton when Iwobi came on, and he played in that sort of Roman 8 role, which I think is interesting. Maybe I'm not sure he's got the legs for it or the sort of defensive ability, but it'd be interesting to see what formation and what setup he plays and where he deploys Iwobi, because I think we saw against Wolves when he scored, he is probably more deadly when he comes inside. So.
Henry Meese says I'm going with a 0-0 draw. I'd definitely take that. Are we thinking the Decore rumours are true? I'm guessing so, because he'd be playing otherwise. Hey guys, I've you left another one. Hey guys, a United fan here. You guys have a great coach. He's my favourite, and he's doing wonders with your squad and the quail of players. Hope you can get Champions League and win stuff under him. We hope so too. Someone made a comment as well about there it is, Erwin Koeman's comment. Look at the bench and how young it is. The fact we're fourth now is amazing. Imagine if we had a fully fit squad. That is amazing. It's unbelievable the return we've got on these players this season. And yeah, we'll talk about that a bit more. And the NG says Pendo's looking smart in his pink shirt. Yeah.
Lovely comment that.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? You know, and as well the trading gear is unreal this season. Hummel are just like unbelievable how much better Hummel are to Umbro, mate.
I couldn't stand the Umbro stuff, yeah. But I think the Hummel stuff's really smart. I got my kit off the 50% thing the other week. I bought the away shirt, which is really smart. Really pleased with that. So yeah, helps the team's doing better though, because I find myself buying stuff like every other week now at the minute because we're playing well. So I'm happy to spend a bit of money.
Definitely, like. If the team are getting beat, you're not interested, are you? You don't even want to wear Everton stuff because you don't want to think about it until you have to, and then 90 minutes. But yeah, when we're winning, you definitely want to spend your money on stuff. And do you know what, guys? If give get your buys in now because you don't know when the form might end. So yeah, but it is very nice. Ian Clark says Alan could be overrun. I don't know. I don't think Alan's a slow player by any means.
Yeah, I think I sort of get what he means, though. I think at times he's been left to do sort of 3 players' jobs at once, and he's looked a little bit leggy, and I think that possibly contributed to the injury he got because he was playing in a bit of a dysfunctional midfield at the time where he was having to do a lot of running. And I definitely think this is why I want to see this midfielder Decore, Davis, and Alan, because I think that gives us the most balance. And again, it's going to be interesting to see who plays in midfield because Gomez is, well, he does not
Gomez
really.
Gomez does not run at all. He's got right with the ball at his feet, putting it out onto the wing and maybe putting it in the box, as you said, and he can put the odd good tackle in. But yeah, the man can't run. Since his injury, he just has absolutely 0 legs in midfield. So it's yeah, I see what you mean there, Ian. And there is possibility tonight, you know, with Sigurdsson and goal there. Hardly 2 beacons of pace, are they? But I hope let's just be positive, mate. Mitchell says we need a tank in midfield like a Marouane Fellaini type. Let's hope Gabaman could be that player. Yeah, I do think we need that. We need someone who can play in a couple different positions, strong, fast, someone like that. Because obviously, I'm mentioning Abdoulaye Doucouré there, aren't I? Really, I'm sort of putting it down to him. But someone like that would definitely a little, you know, a warrior in the midfield. That would be quite a good purchase to replace Gomez, James.
I think, to be fair, any team in the Premier League would love a Marouane Fellaini because he was so good for us. Certainly the last few years he was there because he could pretty much do it all, it felt like, and he was given a bit more license going further forward. Obviously, he played up front, second striker, attacking mid, centre mid, defensive mid. He played everywhere. So, obviously, Moyes has got his own version now, or his new version in that Soucek bloke, who can find someone like him. But as you say, you've pretty much described Doucouré because I think he's got 6 goal involvements this season from centre mid, and that's something that this team certainly lacks with Gomez and Alan. Obviously, they haven't got a goal between them this season. Same with Davis as well. You throw him into that. And obviously, Gabaman hasn't, but yeah, I think Gabaman's probably going to end up being more defensive, but then that could maybe mean Alan's going to be that Fellaini type player potentially.
I hope so. Live of Vid says I'd take anything between 3rd and 6th. I completely agree with that. If 6th gets Europa League, which we'll have to see what that'll be. I don't know what the situation is, but as long as we're in Europe, it doesn't have to be the Champions League for me. But we need to play in Europe, and if we do get in Europe, we really need to invest in the summer in some players. James, I know we're talking a bit earlier, but that squad we've got now will not get anywhere in Europe, and I think that it will suffer in the league because of it, because we haven't got enough players. Simple as.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna need to strengthen, regardless of whether we're in Europe or not. Obviously, I think bringing in players pretty much in every area of the pitch, other than maybe centre half, is probably the one place where we don't need someone. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, at this moment in time, if we don't finish in Europe, we'll probably get 1 or 2 players in just to add to the squad, so maybe 2 to 3. But if we are in Europe, we're probably looking at 4 or 5 additions, so long as we don't do a Ronald Koeman, Steve Walsh summer and sign about 9 attacking midfielders and like a couple of unknown wingers and Cuco Martina on a free. As long as you're not doing anything like that, I'm happy with whatever they go for.
Yeah. Hello to Gary B, Jake Abbott, Tom G, CFC, Joe Woolwich. Let's see if we've got anyone else who has just joined. I mentioned Tommy, Danny Boyan. Thank you all for joining the stream, guys. Make sure you're leaving likes on it as well when you come into the stream. It's not hard, it's completely free, and it's dead easy. It helps out the channel as well. So let us know that you like these live streams as well. And if we're getting a lot of likes on them, we'll carry on doing them for as long as we can. Gary B says DCL needs more assists. He's got 0 this season and only 9 in his Everton career. Do you think he does enough in games? Yeah, I'll mention this one first, James, then throw it over to you if that's all right. But yeah, I think he definitely does enough in games. Just because he doesn't turn it into assists doesn't mean that he doesn't do enough. I think he offers a lot more. And I said this on the, I think it was a preview for West Brom. I think he does a lot more than Romelu Lukaku ever did for Everton, because Lukaku was obviously a brilliant goal scorer, but I think DCL offers a lot more than him, just for his track back and defensively and on the counter-attacks. I think, yeah, he does definitely do enough in games.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure, because I remember I posted on over on our Twitter a couple of weeks ago, sort of the breakdown of every goal and assist everyone's got this season, and I thought DCL had 4 assists, so I think that probably shows I think that's more than good enough for a striker that's always offered a lot more than just goals. Even when he wasn't scoring, whether it's a couple of seasons ago, whether it's now, he's still an absolute handful. Quick, strong, can absolutely dominate defenders. He absolutely bullied that Salisu last week against Southampton. He didn't know what day of the week it was, that fella. So I think he offers more than enough. And I think, to be fair, it's probably a bit like the Sigurdsson situation from a couple of seasons ago, where if it wasn't for Calvert-Lewin and Walcott was another big one, who the pair of them missed loads of chances in 2018-19, and Sigurdsson would have ended up with probably double-digit assists if he was setting up better players. But I think if Calvert-Lewin gets better players around him, he probably ends up getting a few more assists. So, I'm with you on that one. I think he does more than enough, 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, Peter says, sorry, that was Premier League assist he was talking about. So he probably has got 4. James, you were right, something like that. But in the Premier League, he's got 0. But no, to Gary, to answer your question, I think he does enough. I think he's been brilliant this season. Erwin Koeman wants to know, actually, I'll answer Mitchell's first. If we get Champions League, Leon Bailey should be a definite purchase. He'd be one I'd love to see us sign if we can make that one happen. James, what's your opinion on him?
I remember, I think it was before the last World Cup, because he hadn't played for Jamaica. I think he had an argument with the manager or like the government or someone there, and they hadn't played for them in ages. So I remember, I think the rumours were like Gareth Southgate was trying to get him to play for England because his stock was quite high. He'd just moved from, I want to say Genk or Ghent or someone in Belgium. Anyway, I think he'd moved to by Leverkusen maybe, and had a really good season. And then we were linked to him last summer after he had a bit of a down a year. And then this year he looks really good again. And I've watched Leverkusen 2 or 3 times this season, and he has impressed me. So I'd be more than happy to go for someone like Leon Bailey. I think he'd be a really good acquisition, but I think the boat may have gone on that one a little bit. Obviously, if we're in the Champions League, then you go into a whole new market of player, as you obviously do, but that's a big if at the minute. So I think maybe he's just out of reach potentially for us. Last season maybe would have been more attainable, but someone of that caliber and that quality, absolutely, I'd be more than happy for us to go for.
Yeah, I'm not sure on his age, but I would definitely like him. If we're in Europe next season, he's definitely someone we need to be buying. Erwin Koeman wants to know, what is your best piece of Everton merch? James, I'll let you go first because I haven't got too much, so I'll have to have a think.
I've got a signed ball somewhere. I'm not sure where it is. It's got like Rooney, Kevin Campbell on it, players like that. Other than that, though, I'm like you. I've not actually got that much. Yeah, I don't have. Oh, do you mean like clothing or what? I just thought you meant like memorabilia type things.
Sure. It means anything sort of merchandise related, so it can be anything like cool and quirky and stuff like that. No, but I don't have much. I'm not like that guy off Arsenal Fan TV who wears it looks like he's covered himself in super glue and runs through the glove shop. I'm not like that. So leave in comment, guys. What's your favourite piece of Everton? I believe John in the chat there says I have my prize signed wifing picture. Yeah, that's a good one. If you could leave some funny ones in the comments, guys, as well. Brighten the spirits up a little bit before the game starts. Mitchell Smith says Leon Bailey and Mason Holgate, the Jamaican teammates. Have you heard about that? Mason Holgate is applying for a Jamaican passport. It'd be an interesting one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I did see that, to be fair, yeah. But it's about a year ago I was saying he should have been in the England squad for what would have been, I think, probably this next international break, but obviously last year, and I imagine he got called off, probably because of obviously all the COVID stuff. I remember saying he's definitely worthy of a place then, but I think probably by now, I think that's probably his best bet, because he's definitely good enough to get a couple of caps for England, but obviously with Jamaica, he'd be one of the star players, wouldn't he, with Leon Bailey, and I think Ivan Toney's doing it as well, isn't he, at Brentford? I think he's another one, so it looks like they have a really good team.
I think Wes Morgan might have retired now as well, so I'm not sure if probably are going to be looking, and they're probably going to try and convince him to do it as well. Because I'd like to see it. I'd like to see him going out and playing some international football, and hopefully it works out for him. Ingrid says, "Thank you for joining the stream again, Inky, and congratulations on all your Everton content on your YouTube channel recently as well. What formation are we playing? Do you think it is 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2? I think it might be a 4-3-3 maybe. It's just come up on BT there as a 4-2.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think it could be a diamond. It could be a flat 4-4-2. I think most likely it's probably going to be a 4-3-3 because I just can't see him deploying Gomez centre mid in a 4-4-2. That would bring back horrendous visions of last season, and then you end up with Sigurdsson out wide. I'd be shocked if it's a flat 4-4-2, but he does this all the time, Ancelotti, and thankfully though he is quite fluid, so it could look like a 4-4-2 and then it morphs into a diamond or a 4-3-3 or whatever. So I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think it's set in stone.
Bobby Lee Ross thinks it's a 4-2-3-1. And I'm guessing that means with Gomez and Allen deep. I think 4-3-3 might be the best bet there, or maybe the diamond, because the diamond has been quite good. Matt O'Regan there has won he's got a brilliant comment there. He says, EFC merch, I have a lock of Graveson's mythical hair. Yeah, it's like the ring from Lord of the Rings, James. It's like this all powerful thing. It can bring away to any team around you. A lot of Graveson's mythical hair is a good one. Manuel there says, I'd like to see the Champions League, but Europa League is still a good task. But people are talking about, James, about we need anything in Europe would do me and all that, and it would. But I think Everton really need to be a bit more streetwise if we get into the Europa League this time. Because 14-15 and 17-18 come into my mind, where we just weren't prepared for the tournament at all.
Yeah, certainly 17-18 especially. I've got no idea what the thought process was there, but I remember the game against Lyon, the home one, which pretty much ended our campaign after, I think, 3 games.
Was that the one where the guy swung for the goalkeeper?
Yeah, that was horrible. I think that I remember Morales played that game. That's how mad it was. Morales came out the woodwork and played. Clarkson came out the woodwork and played. I think Calvert-Lewin was up front. It was just awful. So whatever iteration of Europe we end up in, if we do end up in Everton, we have to sign players. We have to promote youth players. We have to just bulk the squad out, because this squad in Europe will get torn to pieces. And in the Europa League, because you end up with some really good teams in there. We saw that with Lyon and obviously Atalanta. Atalanta were on their way to being one of the best and most entertaining teams in Europe, and they showed that against us. Absolutely spanked us in both games, and obviously Lyon are top of Ligue 1 at the minute, and we had Wolfsburg in 14-15. They were really, really good at that point. So yeah, there's lots of good teams in there these days.
There is, and the Dynamo Kiev and stuff like that pop into your mind of the big away trips against these solid teams. So yeah, if we're going to be in it, we definitely need a fuller squad. We're going to need about 5 or 6 players in the summer, in my opinion. Players to have played for both Everton and Chelsea. A couple of people already in the chat with that one. Lukaku and Barkley. Carl Molyneux says Pat Nevin. Can you think of any, James, players to have played for Everton and Chelsea? I can't think of too many off the top of my head.
Kurt Zuma, Graham Stewart, Pat Nevin's a good shout. Zuma. Yeah, I need to have a... Who was that?
Erwin Koeman there says Zuma. Kurt Zuma is obviously in the team, isn't he? Live Avid says Graham Stewart. That's a really good shout.
Christian Atsu's another one. Just thought of them.
Christian Atsu's one. Players who play for both Everton and Chelsea. I'm not too sure. Leave your comments, guys, and see if you can get any good obscure ones. Bobby Lee Ross, what Everton shirt should I buy from the Everton shop, and is the training gear any good? I've only got the home shirt, but I absolutely love this season. They're much better quality and the recent ones with Umbro as well. Like I've had mine since August, I think, or whenever it came out, and they're really good quality. James, you've got the training gear as well. What's it like?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, as I said, I hadn't really bought any of the Umbro stuff because I just couldn't stand Umbro. I didn't mind it when we first got it, but last season's home shirt, that went under the radar. I think that's probably our worst ever home shirt. That honestly, I thought it looked awful. And so boring and so lifeless. But now I think the stuff's really good this year. I do have an old Umbro one that I got probably for Christmas or a birthday or something, and I had it on the other day, and it's chalk and cheese in terms of quality. So I've got this one, and I've got the navy one as well, which is really, really nice. I've got one of the quarter neck zips as well. That's good. So I think definitely go for it. And in terms of kits, I always like getting the second or third shirt just because obviously they're typically very different to what there has been in the sort of previous seasons, whereas the home shirt's always quite similar. But I think any of them are a good buy at the minute.
Yeah, and I'd say I got one of those quarter zips as well. They look really nice then. But if you do get anything, guys, buy it from the link in the live chat, and that'll help support the channel. So yeah, always good. Any more there? Samuel Eto'o's a good out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Duncan McKenzie's a good shout. Jermaine Beckford, Eto'o.
Jermaine Beckford? Didn't know Jermaine Beckford played for Chelsea.
I don't think he did. Oh no, actually, my dad there in the chat there. He says Duncan McKenzie. I don't remember any more that we haven't got so far. I think news says Jamie Ryder. That's a decent one.
Oh yeah, huge. Yeah, I've just seen as well Beckford did play for Chelsea at youth level. I would never have said that in a million years. That's a really good shout. Did not know that.
Yeah. Urban Koeman says Beckford was from Chelsea's academy. Yeah, so I can't know if Erwin was the first one to say it, but I think that's probably the most obscure. My dad there in the chat's going out with Gary Stanley and John Spencer. You could just be throwing names out there that no one would really know, but Jermaine Beckford will give the Erwin Koeman for Jermaine Beckford. Kath Eustace would like, I think I'm pronouncing that right, says he'd like a shout out. So thank you for watching the stream, and I hope you're enjoying it. We're going to be live for another about 50 or so minutes until kickoff. Last year made us look like Minecraft pigs. That's a good shout, because that was a horrible away kit. We wore that against Chelsea last year, didn't we?
Oh, we got the salmon one. Yeah, I didn't like that. I think that the home shirt. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. The thing I didn't like about the home shirt was just like the weird like stripes on the front. I remember seeing it, just thinking like, why am I getting so wound up over a kit? But
well, yeah, it did look like a bus seat, I thought. Which the season before with like the little Marl effect and the nice collar and the buttons, I loved that kit. Absolutely loved that one.
Yeah, that sort of reminded me of the like the 97 to 99 one, the one I had on last week with the diamonds on the Umbro diamonds on the sleeve. Yeah, I quite liked that season. Reminds you of Andre Gomez, that kit with his short hair and playing quite well. Yeah, and I really liked the Umbro one the first season we had them back. I mean, it was like a black, it was a blue with the black accent and the black socks. I really liked that one.
That one gets in a lot of talk about on the channel between me and Paul with the navy socks. Really like that. And as well as like, remember we just come off that brilliant season with Martinez, and it was like the kit was nice. And like it was like, yeah, this is going to be it. Now we're in the Europa League. We're going to be brilliant. We've got this lovely kit, this great manager, and it just did not end up like that. It was awful. I actually remember that season staying behind for the lap of honour and it being the most disappointed I'd ever been in my life. It was so disappointing that season, and yeah, brings back some bad memories. Semi-Charm Life says kit talk gets my blood pumping. Everyone loves a kit talk. It's nice impartial thing to talk about, especially when you're not getting the results you like. Everyone can talk about kits and everyone's different. It's great. But yeah, the kits are great to talk about. I love it. Inky Squid says they only use the horrid coral kit if we were a beacon. If our team was stuck on a desert island, you could see that from a mile away. There was the 0809 like fluorescent yellow one as well. They could use that as a beacon if you were stuck on an island. Inky also says, I liked our third kit this year and last year. I'm bringing up kits in my next video. What was the third kit last year? James, can you remember? Because I can't remember.
Yeah, it was like the I got it for my birthday last year. It was all black with like a black badge and then like navy accents. We rarely wore it. I think we wore it at the Emirates maybe.
I remember now. Yeah, I remember Calvert-Lewin scored the Emirates in that kit, didn't he? And that was a nice one. That I would have liked if that was just the away kit instead of that horrible coral one. It was horrible that. But he said he's going to bring that one up in his next video. We give him, was it me and you? I think give him some tips in the last stream for his videos, and he's been uploaded. Been really good. It says hope Zuma gives us another pen today if he's playing. He is playing, isn't he? So
yeah, hopefully. Yeah. I mean, I think with Kurt Zuma, I was just thinking before, like I don't know if he's been injured, but I don't think he's played loads this season. And obviously, we really look like we were going to get him back, sort of some before last. But I really like Kurt Zuma when he played for us. I thought he was a really, really decent loan signing, to be honest.
I'm just going to check it again. Yeah, it's Christensen and Zuma. So Rudiger's on the bench. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't watched too much of Christensen. I love James, the right back. I think he's a cracking player. Kovacic is a good player. He plays well against us. Jorginho's a bit hit and miss. Might be a little area we could exploit. Alonso can put the ball in the box good. Havertz and Werner are hot and cold, aren't they? Not sure what they're going to do. And Hudson-Odoi is quite talented. So really strong bench for them as well. Pulisic, Mount, Jeruzic, Chilwell, Kante, Thiago Silva. Yeah, it would make a brilliant five-a-side team if you put all those players together. Erwin Koeman says 17-18 had the worst kit. I'm trying to think what the kits were for that season, because there was I didn't mind the home kit that much with the Umbro bits coming down the sides of the sleeves. I can't remember too much what the away kits were like. He says if Zuma scores today, I'll make a video of players Everton loan that they should have signed. You got any, James?
Well, yeah, I'd say Zuma's one. I don't know, because we signed Delafeu, we signed Lukaku, we signed Barry. They were all good signings. We didn't sign like Sidibe, but I don't think we should have signed him.
No, it's not often that Everton loan a player, then don't buy him, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just thinking then, because I think Zuma's the best example in recent years I can think of. It's not like we've signed. I can't think of anyone we've signed and then, as you say, not gone on to purchase. It's not like, you typically get them in sort of smaller teams, don't you? Like teams who are in the Championship, because they can't buy them at the end of the loan spell. So I think that's more or less where you get those sort of lists from. I'm sure there's loads out there. I think Matteo Ferrari, he was on loan, wasn't he? My dad said he really liked him when he first played, but then he got injured. So he could be potentially one. And obviously we signed Mikel Arteta, who's another one who we got on loan originally. Donovan is probably the best example I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, Landon Donovan, I really wanted us to sign him, but obviously he kept going back to MLS and coming back to him. He obviously had some sort of really good relationship with Davy Moyes, but Enna Valencia, I mean, do you know what? At the time, I wouldn't have minded if we'd signed him permanently, because Lukaku had just left, and we were like, I think we just signed Sandro, and I was like, oh, do you know what? If we sign him as backup, and because obviously we all thought Sandro was going to be brilliant to me, so I was like, we can sign him on loan as backup for Sandro Ramirez, and it was a strange time to be an Evertonian. Really, really bad. Yeah, bad period. Our worst recent loan player was Mangala. Absolutely terrible, says Mitchell Smith. That feels like it never actually happened, that. Mangala coming on loan, I was really happy when he came on loan because he played for City and I didn't mind him as a player. And he played like, 2 games and never played. And never played again. He got injured. Inky Squid says Funes Mori. I think Funes Mori was a permanent signing though.
Yeah, he was, yeah. Yeah, I think with yeah, that was a really poor decision. But I think with Mangala, goes under the radar. We paid him. I think Terry said the other day it was $100,000 a week, wasn't it? It's like Allardyce just pissing money away, like just for no reason. And Martinez used to do it all the time, signing the likes of Tarashai and Rodriguez and Mattioni, just signing these jarg players for no reason, just wasting wages. He loved doing that, Martinez.
Mattioni.
Yeah, do you remember him? Why did we signed him and sent him on loan to Doncaster? Like,
we signed him and then he just trained, didn't he? He trained once and we never seen him again. What a weird sign! That, do you know what? I think that's gonna go. Was it Felipe Mattioni? Because I think that's gonna be. I think that's the weirdest Everton signing of all time, though.
Yeah, I say he just he just pissed money away for no reason. Like David Hennen, Onyekuru, Anton Donkor, who signed on loan from Wolfsburg, I think it was. Like just for no reason, just throwing money away. I don't know who let it happen, but yeah.
With Steve Walsh.
Yeah,
yeah, David Hennen. Yeah. And God, I can't. Felipe Mattioni. I couldn't believe that. I
that threw me.
He didn't even have a picture on the website. He didn't have a picture, did he? He was just like an avatar. And then he never actually played. And he went on loan to Doncaster. And I think it was probably Everton must have been tax dodging something and they made up a fake name.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. A nightmare. Awful days.
Yeah. Mitchell Smith says, I hope Ellis Sims gets some game time when he comes back. But if we keep Keane as well, DCL and Richie, it might be tough. Yeah, to be honest, Mitchell, I know he's playing quite well for Blackpool. I haven't seen him, so I'm not too sure. So, I'm not too sure. Toffee Blues, John there says Walsh was before Martinez, so all Martinez, haha. Walsh was after Martinez, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it means. Yeah, he was after. I think he's got them the wrong way around, but yeah, he definitely was after Martinez. Because he came with Koeman, didn't he? That's some double package there.
Yeah. Oh, that was. Do you know what? It was just such a weird one. Like, there's that iconic picture of him with his briefcase in Rome. That one still makes me laugh to this day. And I think it's on your thread, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, like just because in the rumors were like he was after 3 players from Inter and 3 players from Milan. Just God, briefcase full of money, just an absolute whopper. Nightmare. That combination set us back for years.
Yeah, he just had nothing in the briefcase, and it was probably packed lunch to be honest. In the briefcase, honestly, I don't know what he ever did. That man, like it, and as well, like it was hardly like he has any sort of tactical know-how because he signed ready-made players from the Premier League, didn't he? That we all knew about. Any fan could have signed Yannick Bolasie. You know, it was like he did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I remember being so excited when he came in, thinking, "Oh, he'll get us a new Kanji, the new Mahrez, a new Vardy," and I remember as well. I mean, I think the story's changed slightly since, but it was around about a year ago when he came out saying that Everton wanted to sign, or he wanted to sign Haaland for Everton, and they wouldn't let him have $4 million. And as I say, I think the story's changed now, but it's absolute nonsense. There's no way Mashiri would let him piss away all that money on Bolasie and Sigurdsson and Klaassen and Vlasic and all these random fellas and not give him $4 million for Haaland. He gave him $6 million for Lewis Gibson. So the story goes, there's no way in a million years they wouldn't give him $4 million for Haaland. But as I say, I think the story's changed a little bit now. But yeah, he was just gobshite, absolute gobshite.
Yeah, guys, you're liking the stream. We're going to be live for like a couple more minutes. So yeah, just make sure that you drop a like before we finish it off. Do you think David Klaassen or Sandro should have got a better chance at Everton? No, they were both rubbish. Yannick Bolasie was as useful as a carpenter, butter and a cow. It was a horrible era that we give a little bit too much time to talk about. But yeah, make sure you're liking the stream, guys, as well. If you have enjoyed it, Make sure you're sharing it around as well, and you're subscribing to the Toffee Blues. Go listen to the Babbling Blues podcast on Spotify. What's it on? Spotify, all the podcast providers, James?
Just Spotify and SoundCloud, yeah. I haven't got Apple Music, so I haven't worked that one out yet. But yeah, Spotify, and it is on SoundCloud as well.
Is it with that Anchor? Because it's really hard to get your things to Apple Music to do that.
I've not looked into it whatsoever. Literally, I just Googled it, and you have to put it on SoundCloud to go through to Spotify. It's a bit of a pain, but yeah, that's where it is at the minute. Yeah, for the time being, everyone's got SoundCloud.
If you ever wanted it to just be like, there's the website Anchor. You can upload it to there. It goes to all the different ones. So yeah, give that a try. Yeah, go listen to the Babbling Blues. It's always a good listen. And of course, after, in the week, they'll be reacting to the Chelsea game and all that. So, yeah, always good to go and support the guests that we have on. Make sure you like it. If you're in the stream and you haven't liked it already, just hit the like button. The teams are about to come out the tunnel. So, yeah, let's hope it's an Everton win. Quick score prediction from you, James.
I'll go 0-0. I'll take a 0-0 all day. So, I'll go for that. They've not scored many, but they haven't conceded many, so...
I'll go for a 1-0 Everton. Yeah, I think I'll go 1-0.
I think so.
I'll be positive about it, but yeah, make sure that you're liking the stream, guys. If you have enjoyed it, subscribe to the Toffee Blues. Check out the Babbling Blues. Go follow us both on Twitter. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the